Now, I have another video. I do, don't worry. But, I said I was going to post the TYT video. And, well, I made a promise that I'm actually keeping on, and I have to go wait for my account on a separate site to be approved. Basically, everything's set up. I just need to publish the video, send a link. I basically just need to get my channel approved, then that's it. But happy today back. Yay, 2 videos per day. Or at least I record 2 videos. 1 video today. That you guys get to see. But hey, you still get to see the TYT video if you want it. Also, I'll post all my deleted or restricted videos there once I get it approved. But okay, whatever. Brian Stelter and Jim Acosta. Jesus Christ. Let's continue, because I have a video to go do. So let's see, I have like an hour, so let's do this. I'll get back to my weird religious things that I was watching earlier, before I found this. Don't ask me, I just don't. Jim Acosta and Brian Stelter have post-Trump stress. PTS. PTSD, because it's apparently now a new disorder. So I'm going to start referring it to PTSD from now on. Well, okay. What do you mean? Well, Jim Costa and Brian Stelter have gotten PTSD from Trump being elected and their condition has somehow gotten worse. Their PTSD has somehow gotten worse through um through Trump's presidency ending. So so they have PTSD, and now it's worse because Trump is leaving office, or Trump left office. But anyways, let's continue about Brian Stelter's and Jim Acosta's PTSD.
There's a lot to be covered in this Biden infrastructure plan. We got used during the Trump era, to think of infrastructure week as a joke.
Infrastructure, Jesus Christ, Jim Acosta, you stutter more than I do. But anyways, it's a joke when Trump does it, but, when Biden does it, it's cereal. Jesus, let's continue.
And how
infrastructure
we cover all of
year.
this. I mean,
jeez, an infrastructure year, guys. Oh my, jeez.
As far as I'm concerned,
villagers. Okay. Hi, you're concerned. It's an infrastructure year. Yes, I am mocking him.
Can we just have a damn high-speed train in this country?
Could we have a damn... Look, I live in California, and I may have driven very much up north to Washington. Ring ring. What's this? Oh, they're building a high-speed rail. It's not completed yet. And they have the most detailed... it's not very detailed, but it has unnecessary details on the bridges. That this is not a joke. Plus, I don't remember what time I saw it. But it was like 6 o'clock on, I think it was like Saturday. No work was being done. It just suddenly ended. 6 o'clock. Jeez.
Can I please?
Damn, high-speed train. Also, why a high-speed train? A car is going to be more convenient. One, how are you going to get to the high-speed rail? So, either A, you're going to walk to it, because I'm assuming you want this to replace cars and airplanes. But, so, we're going to have to walk to it. Well, I don't really want to walk a long distance. Oh wait, housing prices are going to go up the nearer they are to a train station, assuming this replaces cars, which, because of the distance and the convenience of having your own high-speed rail, in your own control, that you don't have to pay for if you don't use it, or if you don't take care of it, unlike a high-speed rail, which is most likely going to be run by the government or be funded by it. You can fuel it or take care of your own high-speed rail if you want. So no, high. The only way you could legitimately make high-speed rail a viable option is to either A, build out a lot of stations near a lot of people, because how are you going to get a high-speed rail to, you know, nowhere Alaska? You're going to have to make a stop there. Okay. What if, say, the power grid were to shut down? Oh no, looks like transportation is gone. But there's so many flaws with the high-speed rail. Yes, it's good for certain things, like long trips and going to a very populated area. It's not going to replace cars. Think about it. Would you rather... Okay, let's say you lived in, like, rural Arizona. Why Arizona? Don't know. Don't care. Would you rather wait for the high-speed rail, which is not going to come, to, go somewhere, or would you rather take your own high-speed rail? Anyways, let's continue, Jim Acosta.
New York, from New York to Washington without problems on the Acela. And can I get on the Wi-Fi, by the way?
Jesus. Can I get on the Wi-Fi? Yeah, you're telling me this. Also, can I get on the Wi-Fi? Oh, Jesus. Jim Acosta. Why do you... Brian Stelter looks like an idiot. Whoever the hell that is. Just... No, Jim Acosta has PTSD.
At the train and have that not be a problem. I mean, we have some major infrastructure problems in this country. You were just talking about.
So what? It's not the government's job to provide transportation for you.
Broadband. I've been traveling down south and out west. There are still parts of this country where they can't get access to the internet. And oh, by the way,
again, not the government's job to mandate internet. I don't care what you think. The internet is not a human right. You can live without the internet. What do you think you did when you were 3 years old? Ah, cuckoo, I'm dying. I don't have the internet. Ah, yes. Internet injected straight into your blood. Yes. Hi, Jim Acosta. You now have PTSD and PTID. Plus, those counties tend to be conservative, so don't really know if you want to give them the internet, Jim Acosta, political views. But then again, I'm making a massive generalization because, Brian Stelter. Reliable sources, after all. Jeez, Jim Acosta.
We talk about this coronavirus pandemic. So many people out there, especially
you go from internet to coronavirus.
Elderly people, have been needing to go online to set up their vaccine appointments.
Yeah. Okay. You know what you could also do? You could take your own personal high-speed rail and set up an appointment in person. I mean, they have plexiglass. That's what they used in the debates, and, that was totally safe. Let's continue, Jim Acosta.
And, many of those folks may not have access to the internet or not know how to use
it. Yeah, nice PTSD. Yeah, okay. Jesus.
Well, and I think that is a major problem. So we have huge infrastructure needs in this country. Our airports, our roads, our bridges are nowhere near where they are now.
What? Our airports are nowhere near where they are? What are... Question. What do you know about airports? What gives you the qualification to talk about airports? except from, me who studied World. Oh Jesus! Stop flexing your World War II history knowledge. Um, and part of World War II was the development of better runways, better airports, things like that. Because guess what? Technology was advancing. See, World War One, we have the invention of the ostrich. World War Two, we now have nukes. World War One, we're inventing very fancy mustaches. World War Two, we now have jets. All made by the same person, by the way. Also, Biden's plan, the big one, the 1.9 trillion one, that one, the stimulus bill, quote unquote, only 5% of that entire thing is dedicated to infrastructure. Very interesting, Jim Acosta. You should do your research. Jeez, let's continue with Jim Acosta.
We need to recognize that as well. And if we're going to spend all this money, let's bill it for the...
Oh, look, we have my least favorite journalist. And again, that could be Aaron Newpart.
Next 100 years. Not just build what we needed 20 years ago, but let's build it for the future. Hey,
the next 100 years? I don't think you get it. If we have the exact same technology we do today, in 100 years from now, we've obviously downgraded something. If we've peaked here and plateaued, there's... I don't get it. That I do not see a future that we have in 100 years not made a major technical breakthrough in any way, but reliable sources.
From both of you, how DC journalists are adjusting to the Biden era. Jim, this is...
DC journalists are just... Jesus. Well, Brian, the answer to your question is we'll circle back to you. Okay, let's continue.
This is your first weekend anchoring here on Saturday and Sunday afternoons. Do you feel like your rundown, your lineup is really different than it would have been in the...
No, duh. Because now you're going from... Trump is literally Hitler to Joe Biden is definitely not Stalin. I mean, very similar in concept, just not the same. Also, I was considering doing an episode on Hunter Biden's laptop. If you don't know what I'm talking about, don't go Googling it. Or don't use Google for your web browser if you are going to research it. Censorship. Isn't it fun? Let's continue.
When you're asking me if I was run down, I thought you were referring to how I felt during the Trump era.
If you're really... Jesus Christ. Brian Stelter, that wasn't funny. If you're asking how I was, I felt run down during the Trump era. I don't even think that was supposed to be a joke. Jesus Christ. I can make better jokes on the spot from that. If you're asking how I was, well, I was in bed with the DNC. That's a fucking shit joke. Could say, if you're asking how I was fucking a dog. Shock humor, everybody. Anyways, let's continue.
I think that, listen, I think we're all dealing with some post-Trump stress disorder.
Post-Trump stress disorder. Jesus. Post-Trump stress disorder. You thought I was making up the PTSD shit? Yeah, fuck you. If you thought that, find a fucking hole and bury your hopes and dreams. Because post-Trump stress disorder. Jesus Christ, Jim Acosta. Anchor CNN Newsroom. This person is a fucking news anchor. Oh my fucking... How? The fuck? Jesus Christ.
Other than that, happy Easter, as he was saying in those statements.
Happy... My post-traumatic Trump disorder. By the way, happy Easter.
A few days ago. Listen, as Annie was just saying a few moments ago, there are questions about why aren't Republicans getting on board with these Biden proposals?
because they're full of shit. Did you know, according to a Democrat, only 10% of the funding of the entire bill, according to a Democrat, would actually go to COVID. That's why. Oh yeah, also it contained things like $15 minimum wage, which is exactly what we need in a time of a depression. Well, no, it's actually not a depression, it's more of a recession than a depression because fancy economic terms. Just shut up. Okay, let's continue. Jesus. Sorry, oh Jesus. No, not continue. Let's just talk about this. No, they're the bad. Just so you know, Jim Costa. No, it's not opposite day. I think you've got your calendar mixed up. And kind of reiterating my point, why would Republicans, or Republicans who want less taxes, I know, very rare, would actually, vote for this? Because it would either A, force America to take out more loans, or B, increase taxes. Also, the majority of Republicans don't want taxpayer money to go to gender and racial equity. However broad that definition may be. Let's continue with Jim Costa and his reliable sources.
Republicans who were getting on board with overturning the election just a couple of months ago, and so we shouldn't have.
What? I think you're misrepresenting this. It wasn't all Republicans. Do you realize this? Hello, Jim Costa?
High expectations for that, but in terms of
Jim Costa, I think the PTSD is really getting to you. Also, maybe the Alzheimer's. It could be that. I think it's the Alzheimer's. Let's let this little weasel squeal.
And what comes first and what comes second? Brian, you and I both know this all too well. We did cover the news before Donald Trump came along, and we did it pretty well.
Yeah, I do remember finding some clips of what's Huckabee, Trump's press secretary, saying she could be dismissive. Things don't walk around, and then earlier, like 6 years earlier, saying the press the press meeting should be testy. Oh Jesus, but bullshit. Anyways, bullshit. Brian will continue.
Plenty of stuff in the news out there, and it doesn't have to have Donald Trump in the headlines for us to continue to exist.
Yes, but we need to talk about Donald Trump because we don't need Donald Trump in the headlines.
Especially when he's putting out these statements. When he was president, he was doing things that were beneath the office of the presidency. Now
beneath the office of the presidency? Could you give me an example? What is beneath the office of the presidency? Because I can think of plenty of things that are more likely, more offensive than what Trump did, which you would have to identify first. So, let's let the beneath the office of the objective journalist, Brian Stelter and Jim Costa continue.
The post-presidency,
we don't need Trump in our headlines. We just need him in our articles and opinion pieces and more opinion pieces and opinion video and opinion direct cable television and opinion literally everything else. Also, there's no office of the post-presidency.
Change with the times.
Right, he's still saying he was
The
robbed.
New York Times?
I don't think anybody's listening except for the hardcore base. But it is important to note the big lie is still alive and well in the pro-Trump bubble.
Yeah.
It's still alive and well. Yeah. Like, I think the Trump supporters have just acknowledged that Trump, isn't going to get the presidency, even if they do believe he was robbed or not robbed. I'm not going to commentate on that because of YouTube's guidelines. But, anyways. Let's let Brian Salter continue.
It went away after the riot when, reality.
Riot. I seem to remember a very, very, very similar event. Maybe it was. Actually, how many days has that been going on for? Jesus. Right. Why is it so hard to actually wait? Day 319. Yeah. Let's let Brian continue.
But no, the lie is out there in the pro-Trump bubble. Andy, what is it like for you? Is it possible to cover Biden every day without
Is it possible to cover Biden every day without mentioning Trump? We don't need Trump in our headlines.
mentioning the ex-president?
Look, I don't know why.
Jesus Christ, Brian. Also, if you hear like a little boop thing, yeah, that's not me, that's the channel. A channel that's posting CNN is asking people to subscribe. And let's let Anita Sarkeesian 2.0 continue.
Definitely it.
And that's the end of the clip. By the way, critique to this YouTube channel if you copyright claim this. Jesus. You should move your end screen so your exit can actually be seen. I know it's amazing advice, but seriously, just don't have an end screen. It's so much easier. Okay, end of video. Bye.